Malve from Prabhat. Welcome to the session of English. Dear students, we are going to learn a beautiful story, Operation Blackbeard. It is a humorous story written by a national award-winning Indian author, playwright and cartoonist Abid Surki. His cartoon strip about a simpleton called Dhabuji is one of the most loved Hindi cartoons in India. He has written more than 80 books including short stories, novels, travelogues, plays and stories for children in Gujarati, Hindi and English. The lesson is a beautiful message from a funny book, The Adventures of His Royal Highness Nawab Rangili. It is a story about the great Nawab Jang Bahadur Rangili. Though his name was Jang Bahadur, he had never fought a battle nor displayed any valor, that is courage or bravery. His small state Nagadpur was merged with India at the time of the partition in 1947. You know students, when India attained freedom, the nation was divided into two countries, India and Pakistan. This division is referred to as the partition. Many people during the partition moved to the two newly formed countries. But this story is just a fiction and Nagadpur is a fictional name. With passing of time, his princely lifestyle had faded. His affairs were also turned topsy-turvy, that is disrupted. Now he lives in a modest, that is small house with his wife Begum Rangeli. He does small jobs of selling eggs and catching crooks, that is thieves or criminals, to earn his living. He was boastful. He was only boastful of his bravery and used to tell children and his friends his imaginary tales of bravery. One day he was sitting under a tree. He was narrating a story of his tiger hunt to a group of children. He was boasting of his bravery. He said that he took his sword and rapidly chased the man-eater like bullet. Sometimes he was ahead of the tiger and sometimes the tiger was ahead of him. In excitement of the story, a child asked him, "Then what happened, Nawab Sahib?" He boastfully said, "How dare the tiger defeat me? I ran so fast that after an hour, when I turned my head, the beast was nowhere to be seen." Children knew this, what exactly had happened, and laughed. Instead of fighting with sword, he had run away from the sight. During his story, Rangile's friend Sher Singh appeared there. He was unhappy. Looking at his long face, that is unhappy face, he inquired what had happened. Sher Singh told him the complete story of his house burglary, that is theft. When he was fast asleep, Bhutnath, the bandit, had approached his house and ransacked every valuable and fled. He lamented. He also informed him that 3 more houses were plundered. Nawab Rangile said, "What else can you expect from a village where a folk of cowards live?" But Sher Singh praised him as the brave heart and sought help. He informed Nawab Rangile that Pukar Singh, who is the Mukhya of the village, has chosen him to go into the forest and catch Bhutnath. Nawab Rangile was shocked. Bhutnath, the bandit, was very cruel. Villagers were frightened of him. But somehow he managed to put up a bold front, that is concealing fear in heart. He managed to show that he is brave. He said that he would go into the forest the same night and bring the thief dragging him the village square. Sher Singh further informed him that the Mukhya had declared a cash prize of 10,000 whosoever bring that bandit living or dead. Nawab Rangile dreamt of catching the bandit and saw a cloud bursting with currency notes. But he came to his senses and understood the gravity of the situation. When he reached home, his heart sank. He was really afraid. He thought of the bandit Bhutnath, his bulging red eyes, frightening moustache, thick black beard, and wrestler's body. But in reality, nobody in the village had seen Bhutnath in person. Begum Rangili was worried to see her husband so dismal, that is, disheartened or worried. She inquired him the reason. He simply said Bhutnath. Begum Rangili was a wise woman. She knew the nature of Nawab Rangile. She correctly understood that he might have accepted the challenge to capture Bhutnath, and now he is cursing himself for his blunder. She said that her brave husband is all set to launch Operation Blackbeard. He was hurt. He said that the bandit had done no harm to them. Perhaps he might have realized that his house was too powerful to intrude and steal. That's why the bandit might have not dared to touch their house, he said. But his wife reminded him that he had to go into the forest to catch the Bhutnath. In the evening, Nawab Rangile was too afraid. He was scared and hid under the bed. He told his wife to say of his departure to forest. But meantime, Shera had arrived and heard their conversation. He taunted him saying, Nawab Sahib, the battlefield of the brave heart is not under bed. Finally, mustering all his courage, he had to come out of his bed against his will. The villagers were gathered there. They walked with them to the forest and then returned. Despite pounding heart, Nawab Rangile walked into the forest. He was afraid. He scampered up a tree, that is, climbed quickly. But what was the surprise? Bhutnath bandit had also chosen the same tree. With rustling of leaves as the Nawab climbed up, Bhutnath woke up with a start and asked, Who is there, man or mouse? Feeling insulted, the Nawab replied that he was the original braveheart Nawab Jang Bahadur Rangile of Nagarpur. He also added that he had sworn to catch Bhutnath and to take him to village to hang him. The Nawab also inquired his whereabouts. He craftily said, I am Lalu, the sweet seller. He also told him that he had come in search of Bhutnath. He said that there was no use of spending a night there, so he poised to leave. But already frightened Nawab Rangile told him to stay. He assured him to gift the prize money to him and unwittingly informed that all the gold of his Begum was still safe in his house. Listening the gold in his house, the bandit had a crafty plan in his mind. He decided to steal her jewelry. The bandit, who was in guise of Lalu, praised him to be brave heart and convinced him that such a brave person in a village would also terrify Bhutnath and he would not come. He cajoled him to go home and sleep in peace. The Nawab was relieved. He invited Lalu home for dinner. He took him to home and asked his Begum to prepare halwa puri. The Begum inquired about the bandit. He replied boastingly that he had vanished listening his bravery. But the Begum was clever. She got alert when she saw the guest. She thought something dubious, that is suspicious, about the guest. She questioned herself whether sweet seller had such a stern and hard face. She came to know who the guest was. She thought and thought to find a way out. Then she found out the Nawab's sleeping pills and put into the halwa in the plate meant for the guest. Nawab said that the taste of halwa puri prepared by Master Chef Begum Rangili of Lucknow was internationally famous. Begum Rangili tried to wink and stop the Nawab, but she couldn't. Carried away with his own words, he offered unadulterated plate of halwa to the bandit and himself ate the plate with sleeping pills. He also insisted Begum Rangili to eat the same food. Her protests fell on deaf ears. That is, her protest was ignored. Nawab also inquired Lalu whether he had cooked such a dish. Lalu informed him that he ate such delicacy for the first time and no one in his family could prepare such a dainty dish. The Nawab felt sleepy and stretched on charpai and immediately slept. Begum Rangili also felt dizzy and she also slept. Bhutnath watched the scene silently. He thought it to be a miracle. He soon accomplished his task. He opened the safe and grabbed the jewellery box and walked out from the front door like a gentleman. See, dear students, how boasting could change the fate of the Nawab. The beautiful story throws clear light on different characters. You would have understood the story, but could you tell me the relevance of the title of Operation Blackbeard? Why the title Operation Blackbeard was given? Was the bandit the Blackbeard thief? The reason is different. Blackbeard was a cruel English pirate in early 18th century who used to rob the ships. The Begum alluded Bhutnath as Blackbeard as both loot others. Hope you have liked this story.
You have to thoroughly read the story and solve the exercises given in your textbook.